Hello everyone, welcome to Cyberscoop TV. Greg Otto, your managing editor here. We're coming to you live from the 2017 Black Hat Conference, and I'm talking with Ping Look, the Executive Advisor for Security Communications and Awareness for Optiv. Ping, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the way security awareness campaigns happen inside organizations. I know you're a big advocate of tailoring the message differently between the C-suite and the overall staff that comes inside of an organization. How do you tailor that message to make sure that on a granular level, a security message is getting across and it fits what needs to happen for the entire organization?
It all comes down to messaging. Everything from how you deliver the message to the number of times you deliver the message. So for the C-suite, their concerns tend to be very different from the everyday employee. The everyday employee is really concerned with things like just getting their day-to-day work done. And so for them, I think the iterative process where you're hitting them a number of times in different modes. So doing an email campaign and then hitting the same message in a newsletter on the company portal if there's one available. Maybe even going so far as putting a poster and putting it in like a highly trafficked area like the washroom or the lunch area or hallways is always good, so that as they're going throughout their day, they're seeing a consistent message. For C-suite, because they tend to be concerned with things like financial implications,
right.
Brand impact, I think the discussion really needs to be had with them one-on-one or in a small group where it's even delivered by the CISO. Delivery by a peer who they're used to seeing and they understand and respect and who can communicate in the same way is really important. And I really advocate the one-on-one because there's so much noise. You have to get past the executive admin who's going through all their emails. So if you send an email, they may never see it. They may not have a chance to go on the company portal because they were stacked with meetings throughout the day. But 5 minutes, a quick session with them saying, look, we've seen this happen. You've got to be, ultra aware, and that, if you go and post these sort of things on social media, or if you click on this link, it's going to look even worse than if an employee did it because, hey, you're the CEO, you're the CFO. So the delivery of the message and the number of times is really important.
So with how granular they can be based on an overall employee base and what needs to happen in a C-suite, how do you measure the effectiveness?
Well, I am a big fan of creating the feedback loop because all too often companies rely heavily on technology. And they just rely on metrics, but they don't understand the culture of the employee base and they don't understand the culture of the C-suite. So I advocate actually assigning a person who is not dedicated solely to IT or HR or internal training, because a lot of times they're like, hey, you go and do the security awareness, and they're like, but I'm not a security person, I don't know about the daily concerns. But if you assign someone, if you make them a security champion, if you make a program manager versus a program administrator, this person should be going out and soliciting feedback from the people who are affected. And what they do is they go and actually have discussions and conversations. They say, look, we deployed this training module, what did you think about it, right? You can use feedback forms and you can use surveys, but all too often people are like, 2 seconds, whatever, click off the box. But if you have a discussion with them, you can ask the right questions, which are, was it too long? Was it too short? Did you like it? Was it useful to you? Because it's really common for people to just buy things out of a box and think that's going to solve the problem. For me, that's not really effective. That's a compliance measure, it's a checkbox measure.
Right.
But the feedback loop is really important. So in my role at Optiv, I actually respond to any questions that come around security wires, and even if it's on a personal nature. And the employees and the C-suite really appreciate it because they're like, there's someone who's going to actually look at my questions and answer them. It doesn't just go into a black hole. And that's always a fear, right? That's always a recipe for disaster where the questions go to someone in IT and the IT guy's like, it's not really in my field. I'm so busy with all these other things. And then it doesn't get any responses or answers, and then it's just like walking into a wall. You get no feedback. So the feedback loop is absolutely critical for measuring effectiveness and seeing if your program is as robust and as successful as it could be.
So how many people do you think should be contributing to that feedback loop? Because I imagine with a lot of these programs, just like a lot of other programs inside companies, you can either get employees that get bored with it, and with the security thing, you don't want to scare your employees away from actually doing anything that would take away from them doing their job.
Right.
So what's a good amount of people and who should be involved in that feedback loop inside the company?
Well, I always say start small, grow it big, because it's really easy to just be like, everyone needs to be involved. But I would say create a charter, create a steering committee. Have that steering committee represented by people who are in charge of the major business divisions. So finance, they have very different needs than, say, the manufacturing team. Have a representative, their security champion. be a part of it. And then they're putting in input saying, look, I'm not concerned with anybody looking at emails because they actually don't have access to the systems, but what we're concerned with is physical security. When they leave the doors open, when they come in and out, when they fail to log out of their machines, things like that. And so when everyone's hearing what everyone else is concerned with, I'm not going to say they tune it out, but they start thinking about, well, crap, I can't just say everyone needs to, lock out of their machine every single night, because there are some people who are working the third shift
Right.
who you just can't automatically turn it all off.
Right.
So I'm also a big fan of having town halls and discussions where people can come in and just talk in a very open, non-judgmental atmosphere. I mean, I've been involved in some discussions where it was pretty heated because people said, hey, we're not being listened to, we're not being heard. And it is the role of that security awareness program manager to go and work between the business units and try to, I want to say, like, smooth things over, and help the communications. And we work with internal training, saying, when are the other initiatives being scheduled for when other people are having training, so that we're not inundating them? Because sometimes they're like, I didn't have time to complete the training, or I didn't have time to look at the email, and you're like, well, that was because 100 emails came out that went company-wide. How do you expect them to look at everything, absorb everything, and still get their work done? It's not fair. So you need to create a very open and fair, and show that you have some compassion and understanding of what their needs are, right? Don't make it hard on them, make it easy on them.
Right. Great. Ping, appreciate your insight. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thank you.
For all of our videos, check out our YouTube channel, and for more on Black Hat and all things cybersecurity, check out cyberscoop.com. I'm Greg Otto. Thanks for watching.